She's the prettiest woman in town, but she lived a very humble life because she's the one the men of the town are fighting over. She was also known as a dirty woman, but she's used to living in the dark because she was born into something people can't imagine. She was the illegitimate daughter of a rich man. She was abandoned when her mother lost her looks. The mother and daughter lived a life of dependence. The mother died of illness soon after. The woman became a commodity in the hands of the rich. Her life was full of darkness, but she had a beautiful face that was out of this world. Until a man came along, the woman's life began to turn to sunshine. At the first sight of the man, the woman still sees him as a man like any other. The strange thing is that the man is not like other men. He didn't let the woman experience cold behavior. Instead, he just says, "I want to marry you." But the number of men who've said that to women, the woman doesn't give a damn because she knows the men only want her, and she doesn't believe that anyone here is in love with her. She kindly reminds them that they should do what they're supposed to do when they've spent what they're supposed to spend. But she didn't realize that he was still talking about marrying her. She was so angry that she threw him out. In the time that followed, the man always appeared in front of the woman's eyes. He always said he wanted to take her out, but the woman told him, "I won't go with you, you're just a farmer. I don't like you at all." When she heard this answer, the man had to leave sadly. Looking at the man's back, the woman wished the man was telling the truth, because deep down in her heart, she also wants to live a simple life like others. But she didn't realize that everything he said to her was true, because since the day he saw her, he swore in his heart that he would marry her. Even though his friends told him what she did for a living, he didn't care. He also knew that she was not an ordinary person. It must be very difficult to marry her. Until the day the woman made a small mistake. She was punished severely when the man arrived with the news. The woman's face was already covered with bruises. The man took out his entire fortune and ransomed the woman before leaving. The man asked her again, "Will you marry me?" The woman nodded her head affirmatively because she wanted to leave this dangerous place with the man's help. The woman finally escaped from the prison of pain as soon as she arrived home. The man gave her the ring that had been handed down from her mother, but the woman didn't believe it was real. All she could think about was escaping after she recovered from her wounds. She ran away when the man wasn't looking. The man found her and chased after her. The woman didn't go far on foot. She saw the man chasing after her. She insulted the man to stop dreaming. She slapped him hard on the face, and the man just gave the woman water and clothes and gave the woman a choice. Ahead was the free town she wanted so much, and in the back, he gave her a home. After that, the man turned around and left. Until now, the woman could not believe the man in front of her was real. What he said was not a lie. That night, the woman went back to the man's house, and the man prepared food for her in advance. He knew that the woman also wanted a stable life. He also believed that she would make the right choice. The woman watched as the man wiped the wounds on her feet. She had a fantasy of a better life, something she'd never dreamt of before in the days that followed. The two of them lived a simple and ordinary farm life. For the woman, the ordinary life of the people was what she had always wanted, and now the woman finally got to live that life. A ray of sunshine in her dark life, but it didn't last long. That day, when the man's brother-in-law came to see him, he recognized the woman at once. He asked the man, "Why did you bring such a woman home?" After hearing this, the man punched his brother-in-law. He couldn't accept someone talking about his lover like that to his face, but the brother-in-law turned around and found the woman. He told him that the man deserved better, and the woman is not good enough for him. The brother-in-law's words seemed to wake up the woman, who was sleeping in a beautiful dream. The woman knew she shouldn't hold the man back, so leaves the ring and leaves the man again, the woman with no life skills. She had no choice but to return to her previous place. When the man found out, he brought the woman back despite everyone's objections. He wasn't angry with the woman for leaving. He would just secretly hide away and cry. The woman happened to see the scene. She knew she couldn't let the man down again. The woman scrubbed her body hard, as if to wash away her dark past. But the woman knew nothing could change the reality. Luckily, the man still doesn't dislike the woman, just like he didn't hate her in the past. The two of them went back to their normal lives. Ordinary washing and cooking, ordinary going out to sell vegetables. Both brought each other the happiness they had longed for. On this day, the man said he always had a wish. He wanted to have a child with the woman. The woman was horrified to hear this, because her past had robbed her of the ability to have children. So she told the man about her inability to have children. The man didn't think much of it, just comfortingly told the woman, "I love you is nothing can change that." While the man doesn't care about the woman's flaws, but she knew the man would be better off without her. So once again, the woman chose to leave quietly, unlike before. This time the man didn't go looking for her, because he wanted to respect the woman's choice. From then on, the woman lived an ordinary life, but it wasn't long before he was discovered by a rich businessman. Once again, she was taken to a dark place, where she found a new little girl. The woman was well aware of her tragic experience, so she took the opportunity of the show to tell of the rich merchant's crimes. It's a good thing there's no shortage of justice in the world. The rich merchant was eventually punished. The children were saved and the woman managed to escape. 3 years passed. That day, the man's brother-in-law found the woman. The brother-in-law told her about the man's man's life. Since the woman left, the man had not looked for someone else. Instead, he waited at home all day long, hoping that one day the woman would return to him. Knowing all this, the woman couldn't believe that the man was so sincere to her. She decided to leave all her worries behind and go to find him. At this moment, the man is still working hard in the farm. Perhaps it is the telepathy between the two. The man turned his head and saw his beloved woman walking towards him. The man once again gave the woman the ring, and the woman swore in her heart never to leave the man again. Perhaps God sympathized with the woman. Years later, they had children of their own. The woman brought happiness to both of them and fulfilled the man's wish. Some people say that stories like this only appear in films, but there are times when mistakes are made that are not things you can decide for yourself. Fortunately, there is often no shortage of forgiveness in our lives either.